Hey everyone, it's Luke here, aka NS Luciel. This is just going to be a quick deck profile going over what I decided to bring to Nationals and ended up finishing 80th, so I snagged that top 128 spot. So for the eggs, I was playing 4 copies of BT2 Cinnamon. I just wanted the plus DP bonus to try and swing over 12k bodies or such that I might encounter on the field, just to also make it bigger so we wouldn't die in sec when I'm swinging to things like defeat, or not defeat, but Zwart or antibody. And then for the 5th egg, we just went with the other Sumemon for the draw power. Thinking about it retroactively, I think I honestly would have swapped this Sunemon to 4 and done this one at 1, just to give it that little bit extra consistency if you brick, because you kind of need to see your pieces with this deck. And then for the rookies, I ran 2 Chumon, because this is a format that is just dominated by blue and memory gain right now, so being able to shut that off and turn off memory boost, it's really good. After that, we played the EX at Caramon for the DP game. This card ended up doing the job that the Sunomon Egg was supposed to do with the plus DP gain, so I honestly should have run the draw Sume just to get more filter out of the way. This gave me enough DP to really swing over and be safe against any threat. After that, we ran 4 of the BT2 Caramon. Again, just more filter, draw power, trying to make sure you see your pieces so you can go off. Probably the most important rookie you want to see early. And then we ran the Searcher Caramon to again help boost consistency, find your pieces when you need them. And similar to Jessamon, almost 100% of the time, even if this is my only rookie, I'm still hard slamming it just to start filtering and searching. So we have our 2 Mechanori. This was just another way to help me stall if I can't find my blocker Diaboro to just kind of set up a wall. 3 of the Rush Kurosari, 3 of the Decoy Kurosari, and 4 of the Memory Gain Kurosari. This one we have at 4 just because it's the main enabler in the deck and we want to guarantee that we can extend our combos as much as possible in the same turn, and getting memory is what helps us do that. As for the Rush and Decoy Corsaries, I just went with an even 3-3 split because they both have their uses. If they don't have blockers and such on board, or you're not seeing a Mechanori, you can build this stack and obviously just swing in with your tokens. The Decoy one is there, it actually came up against BT1 Omni. I had a couple board states where I was facing Imperial or something, and they tried to BT1 Omni to clear my board, and I was able to preserve half my bodies because of the way Decoy works. Let's say they Onslaught or BT1 Omni, and they're targeting all your Diaboros. You can actually sacrifice a card that would be blown up by the effect to save up another one. So it's just a easy way to try and mitigate removal if they're hitting you with wide removal. You can honestly tweak the ratios for the Rush and Decoy one to probably suit your meta more. Obviously, the Decoy is not going to be as good into blue because they're primarily bouncing your stuff, but into the rest of the decks, it's really useful. So you can kind of mess with these ratios however you want. You can probably do 4 Decoy, 4 Rush, depending on how you like to play the deck, and how you tweak your Mega lineup. We're playing 2 of the BT2 Infer, just to, again, help reduce cost, extend your plays. Making Diaboromon 2 cost by himself is usually a pretty good thing. And then, right now, these are 2 more BT2 Infers, but when I played the deck during Nats, this was actually the BT5 Infer with the inheritable on deletion to spawn a token. There was a couple times where it came up, but for the most part, every time I saw the BT5 Infer, I almost always wished it was this one, so I made that change after the fact. And then the main card we care about is EX1 Infer. Both its skill and its inherit came up very much in a lot of my games. The main skill when it's on the field, where when our opponent's Digimon digivolves into a 5 or higher, I gain a memory. It came up pretty clutch a couple times against Jessamon and Gabubond. Just because like, if they don't know the cards here and they're at 3 and they evolve, it's obviously going to pass over to my turn and they've now burned their security for no value. So that skill's really clutch. And then the inherit to gain, to give 2k to all other Diaboromons during all turns is really good for helping set up blocker walls. If you have 2 of these guys on board, your tokens are now, or if you have 2 of these as sources underneath Diaboros, your tokens are now 7k, so Jessamon can't pop it with a Bauhuck inherit. So it's just nice to beef up your tokens so you can swing over stuff or use it to block smaller bodies. Because when they're 3k, they're kind of fragile and easy to get rid of. This is probably, I'd say, where you have the most room for personal edits or how you like to run the deck. For myself, I went with 2 of the token spawner Diaboro to help generate tokens in a board state when I'm not finding my erratas. Because sometimes if you don't see errata, it can be rough to get enough tokens on board, and you have to use this guy first to just get your tokens going. After that, I played 2 of the promo Diaboro. This card was really good against Gabubond. It helped me kind of play around Ice Wall, because sometimes they just Ice Wall, and errata would put me to 3. And I just needed a way to clear out most of their security in one swing, so I could just swing with that last final body with whatever for game. And running 2 copies of this guy allowed me to do that. And then probably the most important card in the deck is the Blocker Diaboro, because this is what helps you stall for time and get to the point where you can go off and do your thing and swing for game. You could probably tweak these ratios a little, like if you like to play more conservative, you can run 1 of the promos and do 4 blockers, just because you really want to see him and is really good in security because he can spawn a token when he gets checked. I wouldn't recommend playing any less than 2 of the token spawner, just because there are games where you won't find erratas easily or not that many, so you just need to get your tokens going. But you can kind of tweak these to personal preference. I liked this split myself, because I found 3 was enough to see it, and then I wanted to see this guy because I tend to play this deck more aggressive than some others that I've been testing with. And having 2 made it so I could do the play multiple times, and sometimes a lot of people didn't see it coming. They expected it to be a 1-of, so they didn't play around the second one. 2 Armas. Really good against Loop. Unfortunately against Bonds, it didn't really do much, as neither Bond has any on Digivolving skills. I didn't run into Yellow, but this would also come up with stopping Valderarm. And he's another way, if you don't have the Rush Corsari on board and you just spawned a token, this you can pop the token, summon this for 3, and it has Rush. So it's just another way to extend against decks that aren't Loop. And then one of the key pieces of the deck is our 4 Errata. You kind of live or die by this card sometimes. The token spawner Diaboro helps us mitigate sometimes, but generally you need to see this to win, kind of similar to how Bonds need to see their tie or mat. After that, we played, for our options, we played 2 Catastrophe Cannon and 2 Ultimate Flare. In terms of options, I know some people would like to run Onslaught or Gawalt, and in my opinion, against wide boards, you tended to set up Mechanori or enough blockers to where you had enough to buy yourself time to go for lethal. So I didn't really want to play Gawalt or Ultimate. Gawalt or Onslaught. Ultimate Flare was there like in case I needed that wide removal, but again it was mostly just de-Digivolve threats and security against stuff like Bond. Catastrophe is probably my favorite option in the deck. It comes up a lot more than you would think, and in security you can get rid of a Bond while giving you another token as up to make a blocker body. And if it's during your turn, if you have the Memory Gain Kurosari, it literally becomes a 3k token spawner that also can potentially de-Digivolve a blocker if it's not something that was hard played. So this is probably my favorite card. I'm honestly considering upping the count, but right now I'm just doing a 2-2 split.